What's up, all my damn fans out there? Are you ready for this? Everybody has their own set of values. Does that make sense? Can you be okay with that? Because most people can't. And I find that the difference in values and the unwillingness to accept that difference is the point of every conflict. What are values? Values are standards in life that are important to us, that we hold by choice and by our beliefs. Okay? It's something that gives people substance. We have community values. Community values are values that pretty much everyone gets together and agrees, okay, these are good values. This guy's a hard worker, good family man, things like that. He's a good Christian. What? People don't like being labeled like that anymore. That's changing. And when it comes to a good guy, I've heard a lot of mobsters call their friends, their peers, good guys. Oh, he's a good guy. Because you can count on him to do a piece of work. I mean, what's a good guy? And what if your values are inconsistent with the community guidelines of values? Is that okay? Who's got the right to draw the line? What if someone comes forward and says, I really don't like working very hard? Can that person get respect? Because the community, society, they're all about, oh, he's a hard worker. I'll tell you what, the hard-working son of a bitch. Hey, good job, bro. You worked your ass off. Man, way to hustle. You worked hard. What if someone's like, I don't really like to work hard? Do they lose the respect of society? What if someone says, I'm not a good parent? That would drive people nuts. People love saying, no, I think that you would be a good parent. I think, oh, you should have kids. What if someone's like, I had a kid and I kept forgetting about him. I wasn't that good of a parent. Well, most people wouldn't just say, oh, that's something that Bob's not good at. Most people, I feel like, would say he's a piece of shit. Go out and leave his kid at home. But he's like, I told you I was a bad parent. You guys wanted me to have him. We all have different values. And they're subjective to everybody. And the funny thing about that is that we judge each other. We judge each other's values. You know what we judge them with? Our own values. Everything that we see, everything that the way we see it, the way we perceive, everything we do, everything we say, it's all based on our values. Now, people want role models to have good community values, but they also want the role models to have the very values that are subjective to the person that is looking at the role model. Parents want their kids to have someone that has good values that'll rub off on their kids. They don't want them taking after someone that has values they don't agree with, whether they're good or bad. And who's to say? But how about the rapper that uses foul language in his lyrics? Parental discretion is advised. Is that person a role model? Could be. What about Michael Phelps, the greatest athlete in the world, but then he got busted for marijuana? Now, how many people jumped all over his ass and said, is that a good way for a role model to behave? I thought so. Great for me. He's not telling kids to smoke. Kids' brains are still developing. It's like playing with wet cement. They should stay sober. Do you give advocates a platform to say that, or you just jump all over it, the hate because your values tell you that weed is bad? Everyone is subjective. It starts, like when you're in school, you need acceptance when you're a little kid. You got to wear the right clothes. You got to hang out with the right people, say the right things. If you just show up and your hair looks goofy, you get made fun of. And our egos need that security of being accepted. Um, it's something that I think the older that we get, I think that it actually doesn't matter as much. Really old people don't even care what their face expression looks like when they're looking at you anymore, They're like, huh? Sometimes. It's something that over time is just always there. And that's also why we shouldn't take things personally when somebody judges us with their values, because their values don't match ours. For instance, I can find a troll leaving a comment online that thinks he scored a touchdown by calling me a pothead. Well, my values don't say that um, responsible cannabis use is a bad thing. My values tell me that my IQ is twice what that guy's is. But why would I be offended just because I know he's trying to insult me? He's only insulting me with his values. I think my values are better. And we all do. We're all biased on our own values, and we all judge everybody, whether we keep it to ourselves or not. And see, that's the thing. When we start enforcing our own values on other people, that equals conflict every time. And basically, that explains every fight, every war, every disagreement. It's all about a mismatch of values, and the more we are aware of that, the more we can adjust to it. The more we can let that not get out of hand and turn into something more than a benign fact. All right, now for me, I love when people know that I'm honest. That's something that I respect about myself. See, that's the key. I respect some of these values about myself. My genuineness, okay? My honesty. I love it when people realize how real I am. Of course, there's some people that their values tell them that I'm being too open and I should keep some secrets or something like that. We just don't have the same values, So, back in the day, I was a hood when it came to the dressing room. In all Japan, I started there when I was 22. And the bus had the office guys and the hood guys. And because of that, that set my values. Just hanging around those guys, throughout my whole career. I never really shook that. I would never be someone that would be in the office trying to talk about plans and ideas. I always wanted to just be paid as the talent and have them look at me like I was money, marketable, worth doing stuff with. I remember being at Waffle House one time with my table of hoods, and we were looking over, and Y2J was over there at a table with one of the writers from WWE at the time. And I remember that we were looking and talking amongst ourselves, man, look at that guy, trying to, kiss up to the right people to get a push and whatever. But looking back now with the big picture, that was so ignorant. What's wrong with pitching ideas? They want that. What's wrong with looking out for your career? That's aggressive. That's something that is recommended. It's just something to complain about if you're on the other side of the coin, So I'm always trying to fix my own issues, my own flaws as I see them, and been pretty successful with it. I have self-respect, and see, that is how I get my cool vibe. People always ask me, how can I be as cool as RVD? You like that big dick energy? Well, here's what it is. I respect myself. If you can't respect yourself, then you can't vibe like RVD. So in order to do that, get yourself in touch with some really good values to live by. Be a good role model for other people. And dude, everything falls into place because you're living the life that you would want people to see you live. Now that's transparency. That's being real as fuck. It's being honest. And that is how I respect myself. Now, got a couple of updates on Headstrong. I don't know if you have caught my documentary on Reels. It's been playing for the last few months. If you haven't seen Headstrong, then it's quite possible that you believe a number of things that I've seen reported on the internet. You might believe that I have CTE, that I've suffered memory loss since getting concussions, and that you might think that I talked to WWE and they told me that I couldn't wrestle for them anymore because of concussions. Well, none of that is true. None of it. If you have seen the movie Headstrong, playing on Reels, also on Amazon, got a couple of updates for you. One, my double vision returned to single vision after about 2 years of vision therapy. What an experience that was. Katie and I got married recently. We are happier than we've ever been in our entire lives. Speaking for myself, it's been a long life, so I'm glad to be living the life that I am right now. Everything is awesome. And another update, there is a news clipping in there in the movie with a headline talking about my divorce. And it has a quote that says, "We don't hate each other." Well, that was before she claimed that I was faking all of the concussion symptoms so that I would go back to work full time and pay her for the rest of her life. Yeah, isn't that sweet? Matter of fact, she actually decided at the end to try to get paid as much as she could, and I don't think that honesty was one of her values. The whole time we were married, which was over 18 years, I owned 2 cars. I bought one car in 98 and one car in 2006. Also, I bought her 1 or maybe 2 cars over that time span. She never made a dollar, so everything came from me and your tickets that you bought to watch RVD doing the 5-star frog splash. But even though I only bought those 2 cars and then a car or 2 for her, if you read the divorce papers from her, we had such an extravagant lifestyle. We each bought brand new cars every single year. Yeah. This was out of nowhere. This wasn't her being vindictive after a fight. This was her exercising her values. All right? Even though every time I wanted to go on a vacation, she would say, "We can't afford it." See, I made the money. She kept up with it. We can use frequent flyer points for the flights and hotel points. We don't even have to spend any money. We can't afford it. But if you look at the divorce papers, you'll see, according to her, we constantly went on vacations all over the world. See if you can figure out exactly where her values are during this, okay? Now, in California, none of this matters. We don't have children. We're not fighting for custody or anything like that. None of it matters. It's just to be nasty. She even diagnosed me with addiction. Now, addiction is when you can't quit something even though you really want to because you're dependent on it. All right? Now, I've never been diagnosed before with addiction. I've never been addicted to anything, but Little Miss Entitlement diagnosed me with addiction. Can you guess what she says I was addicted to? Of course, porn. What? Yeah. Apparently, even though we sold the house and she got all the money, and she already had a house waiting for her that I bought that her future husband remodeled on when she had him on payroll from me. Anyway, none of this was good enough. All that stuff that she felt she was entitled to, on top of that, she wanted to steal a little more. So she came out with all these wonderful little stories. I don't think honesty or genuineness was a concern with hers, at least not nearly as much as something else. And now we can add doctor to her long list of careers that she tried and failed at my expense. Okay, guys. I tapped into that energy to share that story, and I'm happy I did. I'm glad to share that with you. If your takeaway is that I am a bitter person, even 1% of the day, it's safe to say you don't know me. But judge me by your own values. Guys, hit that thumbs up button, motherfuckers. Peace.